And our first main topic today gets sent in to us from Billy Joe 316, who writes, "Hello, and thank you for all your hard work." Well, thank you for that, Billy. I was curious, do you think that Cats released this weekend against Star Wars so that they can blame Star Wars for the lack of interest and the loss of money instead of the real reason of the movie actually being bad? All right, thanks a lot for sending in that question, man. And of course, Cats came out the other day, and to some of the most hilariously negative reviews I've seen. And you guys know I've had high hopes for Cats just because Tom Hooper is directing it and I love his work. I think he's a fabulous director, but the reviews for it have been horrible. Really comically bad, to the point that the Boston Globe, a reputable, film, critique kind of outlet, is using the words, my eyes, oh God, my eyes. So that's part of it as well. So the question is, do we think they put it out against Star Wars to purposefully blame any lack of money on Star Wars? No, absolutely not. The studios don't care about what reasons people think a movie didn't make money. All they care about is how much money a movie makes. And honestly, putting Cats up against Star Wars was not a bad idea because it's what we call in the industry counter-programming. We've seen it work before many, many times. A huge blockbuster movie coming out, but if you put out another movie that's a completely different kind of movie, it can also do pretty well. That's why they put it out against Star Wars. They wanted it in the Christmas season. They thought putting it as counter-programming against Star Wars would work, and they thought they might have had a pretty good movie on their hands. Of course, we know now it's probably not, but it has nothing to do with how well or how not well the studio thinks it's going to do at the box office. That had nothing to do with it. They put it there because they thought it could work. And when they announced the release date of this movie, they had no idea what critics were going to think about it at the time. So no, I don't think there's anything there to worry about on that level whatsoever when it comes to that stuff. Anyway, Aaron, do you think there's a possibility here that maybe they purposely put Cats against Star Wars, hoping it would do badly at the box office, thus being able to blame Star Wars for it? Do you think that's what they're doing?
No. Well, as you educated me recently on this show, these decisions about release dates happen way, way, way far in advance. And as we've seen from any of the interviews with the cast and any of the creators, not only did they not think that they had a terrible movie on their hands, I think that they thought they had like the best movie ever, because the interviews, everyone's so ecstatic and just, praising this film and ad nauseum. One of my favorite actually reviews of the film was a half-digested hairball of a movie. I said that yesterday and I just still can't stop talking about it. But additionally, there is still a possibility that this film could financially redeem itself. Now, clearly, it's gotten terrible reviews. I hear that. And it's probably, they're estimating it's going to be maybe a $15 million opening weekend.
I haven't heard, to be honest.
I read somewhere it's maybe about 15 million, which I think is being very generous. But let's not forget, The Greatest Showman opened to 8.8 million, which is very, very low. But because it continued to play in theaters and people started going to sing-alongs and really getting into the movie, it ended up grossing 435 million worldwide when all was said and done. Now, I have read that unfortunately, because of the what do you call it when you take a song and you kind of change it up a little bit? Not remixing, but the way that it's produced, I guess. Sometimes when they'll have a song that they do on The Voice or something, the way that they produce it, it's changed a little bit. And apparently, even the most memorable song of memory, ironically, in the show doesn't have the same flow that it does in the Broadway show that we all of us fans know and love. But if there are some songs that are sing-along songs, that are songs that will be fan favorites that people can go back, it could turn out to be in a fun Rocky Horror Picture Show The Room kind of way, it could end up being a sleeper hit.
That's not the comparison the producers wanted to hear.
Oh, absolutely not. But hey, The Room was done 10 years ago. We're still talking about it now, or 20 years ago almost. So, I mean, I like to think that Cats may be that crazy sleeper hit that all of my, fellow shroomers out there want to just go and have a little fun watching.
Of course, I love the example about The Greatest Showman, because that is a 1 in a million situation, right?
Absolutely.
That opened solo and yet just had motor. The big difference, of course, was that people liked The Greatest Showman.
Right. It's a really done film.
I love that movie. The more time that passes, the more I love that movie. I still find myself popping on YouTube once in a while and just bringing up song pieces and performances from it. I just love it.
But see, Cats could be the same way, just...
Really?
Opposite.
Really?
I really want to watch this scene again. It's so bad. And why is there a cat flinging itself across the screen?
But are people going to pay $15 to go to the theater to have that experience? It's going to be interesting. Listen, I don't doubt the $15 million opening. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised, because the fact of the matter is, regardless of the reviews, Cats is one of the most celebrated stage productions of
ever.
All time, probably the most decorated of all the stage productions ever. So I could see it scraping together some people interesting to see it, but what's really going to be interesting to see is what is its second weekend drop off. Like whatever it opens with, it's going to be really interesting to see its second weekend drop off.
And to make back its $100 million budget, it's going to have to stay in theaters for a long time.
Well, I mean, it's just to make back its $100 million budget. This movie's going to have to make in the neighborhood of $250 to $275 million. I don't know. Maybe people in Brazil love it. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Question is, guys, do you think there was any sort of, conspiracy stuff going on about why they put it on this weekend? Personally, I really don't think that makes sense, but maybe you guys do. Maybe you have some other, points of view on it that we're not taking into consideration. Jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.